And that open is totally regrettable. All right, Rico, issue 1. Georgia is Bama. Bama is Georgia. They are now one and the same. The same rules apply. The same expectations apply. The same media drooling applies. Georgia, with what they did to Oregon, 49-3, and it wasn't that close. I think any question that you have about Georgia needs to stop because you wouldn't ask it of Alabama. True or false?
Mike, that's absolutely true. Georgia put a lot of doubts to rest. I mean, by the time I got to the game on, I sent Kenny a text like, well, I think your team's going to cover. The Oregon fans regrettably traveled to go watch that game, Mike. They reloaded, and that was the biggest thing. You sent all those people to the NFL. Can you reload and come up with a team just as good as last year? The answer is yes.
They might be better. Rico, there's an epidemic in college football. Idiot coaches passing up points in favor of idiotic calls in idiotic situations. What the hell is going on with going forward on things like 4th and 7 from the 7 when you're winning? Or going for it on your own 38, not on 4th and inches, not on 4th and 1, not on 4th and 2, 4th and 3. If you want to set the tone from the 1 foot line, fine. Try it once. Rico, all weekend long, including Mike Norvell at FSU, you have been given 3. You're going to go up 10 in the second half. He goes, nah, fade routes. Rico, what did I wake up in a different era? What is this?
I don't know, Mike. Maybe you blame it on analytics. Maybe you just blame it on that gut feeling that coaches have. But, yeah, a lot of coaches get in their own way at the end of the games. I mean, you saw that with Jeff Brom. And now I'm not going to run the ball. I'm up. Let's just keep passing it so that Penn State doesn't have to use any timeouts and we lose the game. Congratulations.
Issue number 3, the anatomy of having your guts ripped out by hand. My Pirates, your Pirates, America's Pirates. Did you catch the ECU game, Rico? They should have beaten NC State by 20. Holton Allers throws 2 god-awful picks. Emotionally tough. You give up a blocked punt for a touchdown. You miss 2 field goals, including one that would win the game with a minute and a half left, only to go and score the touchdown to then miss the extra point that would tie the game. After watching that game, I don't believe in love anymore.
Watching that game, every now and then you feel for the person, and I thought about you and how angry you were.
I had plus 11 and a half. I was fine. I just felt
but you love ECU.
I felt for the boneyard.
Yeah.
Someone explain Mike Norvell to me, Rico. The FSU head man already committed a sin of, as I told you, not going up 2 scores, passing up on a field goal. But then the unthinkable happened. He successfully shoved his head so far up his own ass it popped out of his neck. And he decided, minute 40 to go, I'm on the goal line. I'm already up 7. We're going to run a toss play. Huh? What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Once again, no,
Huh?
Mike, once again, it's coaches, hey, this will work. Now, I don't know if he came up with that play or the OC said,
I don't
hey,
care.
why don't we try this? This is where sometimes you have to be conservative. Sometimes you got to put down that video game controller and just do what's right for your team to win the game. It may not be pretty, but you just get the W.
Oh, by the way, when your pass rush has been destroying your opponent, probably not a good idea to go 3-man rush prevent. Just saying, Mike. But don't worry. There was another gentleman and his family who decided, wait, you're going to F up your season opener? As the kids say, hold my beer. Brian Kelly. Thanks, Jim. Special teams in college football, epidemic number 2. It's me again. Rico, this is the rarest of hat tricks. Brian Kelly watched his team have a field goal blocked, have a game-tying PAT blocked, and then muff not one but 2 punts all in one game, which I imagine is the equivalent of bleeping yourself out of both ends and throwing up at the same time.
Not a pretty picture, but okay.
That's LSU special teams. It's unreal. Rico, how it can – now, look, if that happens at Georgia State, you live with it. It's what it is. Hey, ECU had a rough day. Okay. This is LSU. How can special teams look this way?
Because a lot of coaches don't value special teams, Mike, offense and defense, and your special team coordinator is just – basically a grad assistant that's just there. They could put a couple of minutes on there and say, okay, guys, you know how to cover this kick? Great. All right, let's go back to playing offense and defense. The teams that put in, like when Virginia Tech was really good, you saw
Beamer ball.
That was a point of focus.
That's right.
Oh, by the way, Mike, I know this is yours, but on your list, do you have the latest epidemic of when you're angry at your team, you delete everything on social media that says you belong to that team?
Butte, the wide receiver?
Yeah.
Hey, man, LSU's got a problem of players who seemingly don't want to be at LSU. Take that for what it's worth. Hey, there was a first for me this weekend, Rico. I saw a man block a punt with his ass crack. Did you see San Diego State and Arizona? One problem. The man's ass crevice who blocked the punt played for the team that was punting the ball. Never in my life have I watched a block punt from one of the up man's ass crack. Rico, it was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. It technically was. It technically was. If you haven't seen the video of this, that poor guy has got to have a bruise the size of Texas. I mean, the ball wasn't tipped by his ass. It was enveloped by his ass.
Yeah. You couldn't teach that technique.
No.
He couldn't do that again if he tried.
Rico, another milestone for me this weekend in a first. The first time in my life watching a game where I said, I can't take any more offense. I can't do this. Watching App State in North Carolina, a 62-point fourth quarter. 62 points, fourth quarter, no overtime. Defenders that either didn't care, were born slow, or are just the biggest collection of incompetent boobs to ever be assembled on the defensive side of the ball. Rico, it got so draining, I wanted the game to end. Is that even football at that point, 63-61 in regulation?
No, that's 7-on-7 football now, Mike. And I know you don't watch that, but I do. But there's no defense being played. I think at that point, both sides of the defense, they were tired. They couldn't cover anybody. And it was just drop back, play 500. Touchdown.
Well, luckily,
touchdown.
It ended, and you have Will Clark to thank for it. The App State head coach, Rico, this is another thing I don't get. Why do coaches force the 2-point thing? Now, they went for 2 with a couple minutes to go, thinking, well, I'm going to take the lead. We're going to go and win it right here. Why? You went off as the favorite. You're at home. The place is a zoo, and North Carolina's out here like, what are we even doing? He goes for 2 and misses. They airmail a pass. So now when you score again, you, instead of kicking the extra point to go to overtime with 9 seconds to go, have to go for 2 again. Wait for it. Didn't get it. Why do coaches do this?
Once again, Mike, it's the analytics. It's being aggressive. It's why you see a lot of coaches going for it once they cross the 50-yard line when they're in that no-man's zone.
I don't mind that.
I don't think our kicker can make it. And you only, in my opinion, you go for 2 if you're playing against a team that you probably aren't favored to beat.
That's right. Not on even terms.
That's when you go for 2.
I agree.
And it's late in the game, and it's like, guys, let's not take this to overtime. And I got no problems. If you go for 2 and you miss it and you're playing Ohio State, didn't want to take the overtime. I had a chance to put the kill shot in. It didn't work out. But
let me briefly leave with this as we wrap the weekend report. I'd like to offer an apology to the State University of New Jersey. That's right. My personal punching bag beat Boston College while down several starters, including Vedral, their quarterback. But someone else is now on the chopping block. Iowa.
Scott Frost.
Iowa. Mother of sweet Jesus God Almighty. A 7-3 win over South Dakota State, a 1AA, and you didn't even have the dignity to get the 7 points by touchdown. No, the rare field goal safety. People.
It was the antithesis of the App State, North Carolina game.
Rico.
Where there was no offense.
Was the game in black and white? Did the game feature minorities, or was this back in like 1895?
Leather helmets,
yeah.
And the players actually came out in, instead of jerseys, they were
Civil War uniforms. So here's my point. Ready for these statistics? Tell me how hot this bread is. Iowa, 166 total yards. The teams combined were 7 for 34 on third downs. And do you like punts? 21 of them. Honestly, it should count as a loss for both.